To coin or not to coin? That is the question. Whether it is nobler to grind it out in a never-ending struggle or to sit back and relax in comfort with the help of your credit card. This is the question that we're going to answer here. Hi, and welcome to Red Evony. I am Akayasha, but for now, you can call me Akaspear. Okay, I felt a little comic relief would be good to start things off for what is otherwise a very heavy topic in the game. With the way the game is played now, coining is such a central part of playing Evony. But for something so central, there is hardly any talk about whether you, as an individual player, should even be coining in the first place. Before we go any further, I want to say that I fully acknowledge the fact that any topic that relates to the state of your wallet is usually a private and often sensitive topic. I get that. I also fully appreciate the fact that everyone is free to do things as they please. But if you are going to be coining in Evony, I think this is a very important topic that needs to be discussed. So here we go. As people that have been playing the game for some time, let me come out straight and ask you, why do you coin? If you have coined or have considered coining, what is your answer to that question? Usually, we choose to coin or consider coining in Evony because we want something. Sounds like an obvious and brain-dead answer, right? But even with that, the conditions have to be right for you to act on that want and coin. In my opinion, you can consider coining under the following conditions. When coining actually enhances your gaming experience and enjoyment of the game in a manner that is affordable for you. That, I believe, is the critical condition for why anyone should coin in Evony. And to elaborate further, I'm going to single out a few words. Enhances, enjoyment, affordable. Enhances refers to improving or building up on something that is already present. As such, in my opinion, one critical requirement that coining must do for you is that it should help build upon efforts that you are already making in the game. Coining should not be used as a substitute for the grind you put into the game. And this is where I feel a lot of players get it wrong regarding this point. You shouldn't use coining as a means of getting everything done for you in the game. It should enhance and support your grind, not replace it. As for enjoyment, I think this one is pretty much self-explanatory. Coining should help boost your enjoyment of the game. Period. You shouldn't be coining if you're not enjoying what you're doing. And I'm sure this goes without saying, but your enjoyment shouldn't be coming from coining itself. The same way people shop simply for the sake of shopping, you shouldn't be coining simply for the sake of coining. Affordable is also pretty much self-explanatory. If you are planning on coining, then it should be an amount that you can comfortably afford or that seems affordable or reasonable to you. Of course, affordability is something that is highly subjective from person to person. For most people, I believe these three things need to be in place before coining becomes a viable option for you in Evony. Let me give you a quick example from my time playing. When I started playing Evony, the first major issue I faced was a lack of stamina. My stamina will always run out in the middle of the day. I'd be missing rallies and I'd have no choice but to wait to get more. I noticed that some of my alliance mates never seemed to have this problem. And it took a while before I realized that they were getting stamina in packs. So, eventually, I decided to start buying packs, specifically for the sake of buying stamina. I'd buy a couple of $5 packs in a day, and I'd be fine. At that time, for me, that met all the conditions that I stated earlier. But as time went on, I needed more and more stamina. And sometimes I'd have to spend $10, maybe $15 a day just to make sure that I could keep up with rallies. Bear in mind that at the time I was doing this, double downs were not available widely in the game. And it got to a point where I asked myself, how long am I going to be doing this for? Spending this amount on a daily basis just didn't seem practical to me. So after a point, I decided to stop buying packs. I started searching for ways to get more stamina in the game, and I also accepted the fact that if I couldn't get any and I ended up missing out on rallies, then so be it. It just wasn't something that seemed affordable or sustainable to me at that point. In your Evony journey, perhaps you have similar stories and can relate to that. For me, from that point on, I started taking a very critical look at things if I was considering coining. Note that I still coin from time to time, maybe once or twice a month, but for very specific reasons. Now, all of these might sound simple and reasonable. So why is there such a problem with coining in Evony? First off, in my opinion, most people don't follow the conditions above, either from the perspective of enhancement, enjoyment, or affordability. Another issue is the mindset of having to coin in Evony to get ahead. I recently put out a poll asking whether coining is necessary to enjoy playing the game. Quite a number of people responded to the poll, some even left comments, and I thank all of you for responding. From the poll, the majority of people either felt that coining isn't necessary to enjoy the game, or it depends. So, why is the mindset of having to coin so prevalent in the game? From talking to different people, they give various reasons for this. And you would hear things like, oh, you need to coin to be strong, or you need to coin to be competitive in the game. While this might be the case for some people, particularly those that are competing at the very highest level of the game, it's not the case for everyone. In my opinion, it basically comes down to this. You feel the need to coin because the other guy is coining. It's mostly about keeping up with someone else. The big coiners, in quote. And for me, once you start setting how much you coin based on what someone else is doing, then you are heading into a downward spiral with no end. A lot of times, when new updates come out, one of the first things we think of is, wow, the big coiners will have such an advantage. I'll be honest, I do that myself. And I think this is something that we, collectively as a player base, need to address. On the other hand of the spectrum though, we also have the Evony developers. They certainly have a hand in making coining a central part of the game. So many updates that come out are coining centric or are disguised with various ways to get you to coin. While you could say that Evony, as a business, certainly has a right to chase revenue and profits, in my opinion, the game developers are also fully exploiting the characteristics of the Evony player base. Let's face it, one major characteristic of the Evony player base is that we have a lot of people who are willing to and able to coin for almost anything and everything. That's just the truth. And because of this, the developers often turn a deaf ear to the complaints and feedbacks of the player base. I mean, after all, the money is still coming in, right? That is why initiatives like the coining strike are an important step to try to get the developers to listen more to the complaints of the players. But beyond that, it is my opinion that more players need to be more responsible and prudent with their spending. We need to dispel the notion that you have to coin for everything in the game. After all, think about it. Even if you are a coiner, there are so many coining options in the game that you ignore on a daily basis. Things like memberships, some of the small gem packs, Helen event, those daily, weekly, and monthly packages, How many times have you bought those? How many times do you even look at those? So basically what I'm trying to say here is, especially when new updates are released, more people need to take a step back, look at things more critically, and think of ways to make the options in the game work more for them, rather than resorting to the credit card to take care of everything. For me, it is my hope that after watching this video and hearing the message here, that more people think about enhancing their game experience, their enjoyment, and considering their affordability before deciding to coin next. That, in my opinion, would be a big step to making the coining situation in Evony much better and the game more enjoyable, with or without the intervention of the developers. If you like what we've discussed here, do remember to give the video a like and feel free to share with more people to pass the message on. Thank you very much. Aka signing out.